Hey everybody, how's it going? I thought I'd get some more reading in, finishing Mattithyahu. Here we go. For the reign of the Shamayim is like a householder who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing. They were idle in the marketplace. And he said to them, "You too, go into the vineyard, and whatever is right I shall give you." And they went. Having gone out again about the 6th hour and the 9th hour, he did likewise. And about the 11th hour, having gone out, he found others standing idle and said to them, "Why do you stand here idle all day?" They said to him, "Because no one hired us." He said to them, "Well, you too, go into the vineyard, and whatever is right you shall receive." And when evening came, the master of the vineyard said manager, said to his manager, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last to the first." And when those came who were hired about the 11th hour, they each received a silver piece. And when the first came, they thought they would receive more, but they too received each a silver piece. And when they received it, they grumbled against the householder, saying, "Hey, these last have worked 1 hour, and you made them equal to us, who have been all have borne, who have borne and burden and the heat of the day." But he answering said to one of them, "Friend, I do you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for a silver piece? Take yours and go. But I want to give to this last man as also to you. Is it not right for me to do what I want with my own? Or is your eye evil because I am good? Thus the last shall be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen." And Yahusha, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 Talmudim aside on the way and said to them, "See, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the bane of Edom shall be delivered up to the chief Kohanim and to the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death and deliver him to the Gentiles to mock and to flog and to impale. And the third day he shall be raised." And the mother of the sons of Zabdi came to him, and with her sons, bowing down and making a request of him. And he said to her, "What do you want?" She said to him, "Command that these two sons of mine might sit, one on your right hand and one on your left, in your reign." But Yahusha answering said, "You do not know what you ask. Are you able to drink the cup that I am about to drink, and to be immersed with the immersion that I am immersed with?" They said to him, "We are." And he said to them, "You shall indeed drink my cup, and you shall be immersed with the immersion that I am immersed with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left hand is not mine to give, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father." And when the 10 heard it, they were displeased at the two brothers. Yahusha called them near and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles are masters over them, and those who are great exercise authority over them. But it shall not be so among you. But whoever wants to become great among you, let him be your servant. Whoever wants to be the first among you, let him be your servant. Even as the bane of Adam did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his chai as a ransom for many." And as they were leaving Jericho, a large crowd followed him. And see, two blind men sitting by the way, having heard that Yahusha was passing by, cried out, saying, "Have compassion on us, O Adonai, Ben of David." And the crowd rebuked them, and that they should be silent. But they cried out all the more, "Have compassion on us, O Adonai, Ben of David." Yahusha stopped and called them and said, "What do you want me to do for you?" They said to him, "Adonai, that our eyes be opened." And having been moved with compassion, Yahusha touched their eyes, And immediately their eyes received sight, and they followed him. And when they came near to Jerusalem and came to Fagi, at the Mount of Olives, then Yahusha sent two Talmudim, saying to them, go into, I'm on chapter 21. First one was chapter 20. This is chapter 21. Sorry. Sent his two Talmudim, saying to them, go into the village opposite you, and straightway you shall find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Loosen and bring them to me. And if anyone says whatever to you, you shall say, the Adon needs them, and immediately he shall send them. And all this took place that it might be filled what was spoken by the Navi, saying, say to the daughter of Zion, see, your sovereign is coming to you, meek and sitting on a donkey, even a colt, the foal of a donkey. And the Talmudim went, and having done as Yahusha ordered them, they brought the donkey and the colt and laid their garments on them, and he sat on them. And most of the crowd spread their garments on the way, while others cut branches down from the trees and spread them on the way. And the crowds who were before and those who followed cried out, saying, Hosiana to the Ben of David. Baruch is he who is coming in the name of Yahweh. Hosiana in the highest. And if I'm not mistaken, the Hebrew for this line, Baruch is he who's coming in the name of Yahweh, I think it's, let's see, I don't remember now. I used to know it. Haba Bashem Yahweh, I think. Sorry. Anyway. And as he entered into Jerusalem, all the city was stirred, saying, who is this? And the crowd said, this is Yahusha, the Navi from Nazareth of Galilee. And Yahusha went into the Mikdash and drove out all those buying and selling in the Mikdash, and overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. And he said to them, it has been written, my house shall be called a house of prayer. But you have made it a den of robbers. And the blind and lame ones came to him in the Mikdash, and he healed them. But when the chief Kohanim and scribes saw the wonders which he did, and the children crying out in the Mikdash, saying, Hosiana to the Ben of David, they were greatly displeased. And he said said to him, do you hear what these say? Yahusha said to them, yes. Have you never read, out of the mouth of children and nurslings you have perfected praise? And having left them, he went out of the city to Beit Anya and spent the night there. And returning to the city early in the morning, he became hungry. And seeing a single fig tree by the way, he came to it, found nothing on it but leaves, and said to it, let no fruit grow on you ever again. And immediately the fig tree withered. Talmudim, seeing it, marveled, saying, how did the fig tree wither so soon? Yahusha answering said to them, truly I say to you, if you have belief and do not doubt, you shall not only do what was done to the fig tree, but even if you say to this mountain, be removed and be thrown into the sea, it shall be done. Whatever you ask in prayer, believing, you shall receive. And when he had come into the Mikdash, the chief Kohanim and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, by what authority are you doing these? And who gave you this authority? Yahusha answering said to them, I shall ask you one question too, which, if you answer me, I also shall say to you by what authority I do these. The immersion of Yochanan, where did it come from? From the Shamaim or from men? So they reasoned among themselves, saying, if we say from the Shamaim, she shall say to us, well, then why did you not believe him? But if we say from men, we fear the crowd, for all hold Yochanan as a Navi. And they answered Yahushua and said, well, we do not know. And he said to them, neither do I say to you by what authority I do these. But what do you think? A man had 2 sons. He came to the first and said, son, go, work today in my vineyard. And he answering said, I do not want to. But afterwards he repented and went. And having come to the second, he said similarly. And he answering said, I go, master. But he did not go. Which of the 2 did the desire of his father? They said to him, well, the first. Yahushua said to them, truly I say to you, that tax collectors and whores are entering to the reign before you. For Yochanan came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe him. But tax collectors and whores believed him, and when you saw it, you did not repent afterwards to believe him. Hear another parable. There was a certain man, a householder, who planted a vineyard and placed a hedge around it, and dug a winepress in it, and built a watchtower. And he leased it to farmers and went abroad. And when the season of the fruits drew near, he sent his servants to the farmers to receive its fruit. And the farmers took his servants and beat one, and they killed one, and they stoned another. Again he sent other servants, more than the first, and they did likewise to them. And at last he sent his son to them, saying, well, they shall respect my son. But when the farmers saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us possess his inheritance. And they took him, threw him out of the vineyard, killed him. Therefore, when the master of the vineyard comes, what shall he do to those farmers? They said to him, well, evil ones. He shall bring them to evil destruction and lease the vineyard to other farmers who shall give to him the fruits in their seasons. Yahushua said to them, did you never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone? This was from Yahweh, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Because of this I say to you, the reign of the Most High shall be taken from you and given to a nation, bringing forth the fruits of it. And he who falls on this stone shall be broken, but on whomever it falls, he shall be pulverized. And the chief Kohanim and the Pharisees, having heard his parables, knew that he was speaking of them. And seeking to lay hands on him, they feared the crowds, seeing that they held him to be a Navi. Chapter 22. Yahushua responded and spoke to them again by parables and said, the reign of the Shamaim is like a man, a sovereign, who made a wedding feast for his son. Excuse me. Okay. And sent out his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding feast, but they would not come. Again he sent out other servants, saying, say to those who are invited, see, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle are slaughtered, and all is ready. Come to the wedding feast. But they disregarded it and went their way. This one to his field, that one to his trade. And the rest, having seized his servants, insulted and killed them. But when the sovereign heard, he was wroth, and sent out his soldiers, destroying those murderers, and lit their city on fire. When he said to his servants, the wedding feast indeed is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy, therefore go into the street corners, and as many as you find, invite to the wedding feast. And those servants went out into the street corners and gathered all whom they found, both wicked and good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. And when the sovereign came in to view the guests, he saw there a man who had not put on a wedding garment. And he said to him, Friend, how did you come in here not having a wedding garment? Well, and he was speechless. And the sovereign said to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, take him away, and throw him out into the outer darkness. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to trap him in his words. And they sent to him their Talmudim with the Herodians, saying, Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of the Most High in truth, and it does not concern you about anyone, for you are not partial to any man. Then say to us, what do you think? Is it right to pay taxes to Kaiser or not? But knowing their wickedness, Yahushua said, Why do you try me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin of the tax. And they brought him a silver piece. And he said to them, Whose likeness and inscription is this? And they said to him, Kaiser's. And he said to them, Then give to Kaiser what is Kaiser's, and to Yahweh what is his. And having heard, they marveled and left him and went away. On that day, Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to him and asked him, saying, Teacher, Moshe said that if anyone should die having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise offspring for his brother. And there is a book called Tovia about his son, and that he betrothed to this woman who had like 7 husbands, and they all died. And it was because of a evil spirit that loved the woman and wouldn't let anyone else be near her. So he, anyway, read the book for yourself. It's amazing. Anyhow, and there were with us 7 brothers, and the first died after he had married, and having no children, left his wife to his brother. And in the same way, the second, the third, all the way unto the 7th. And last of all, the woman died too. At the resurrection, then, whose wife of the 7 shall she be? For all had her. That was just their way of tripping him up, which, you can't trip up the Son of the Most High. Of course, in their jealousies. Anyway, Yahushua answering said to them, You go astray, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of the Most High. For in the resurrection they do not marry, nor are given in marriage, but are as messengers of the Most High in the Shamayim. And concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was spoken to you by Yahweh, saying, I am the creator of Abraham, and the creator of Yitzchak, and the creator of Yaakov? Yahweh is not the creator of the dead, but of the living. And when the crowds heard, they were astonished at his teaching. The Pharisees, having heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, were gathered together. And one of them, one learned in the Torah, questioned, trying him and saying, Teacher, which is the great command in the Torah? Yahweh said to him, You shall love Yahweh, your creator, with all your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. This is the first and great command. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commands hang all the Torah and the Nevi'im. And when the Pharisees were gathered together, Yahushua asked them, saying, What do you think concerning HaMashiach? Whose bane is he? They said to him, Of Dawith. He said to them, Then how does Dawith in the Ruach call him Adonai, saying, Yahweh said to Adonai, Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. If then Dawith calls him Adonai, how is he his bane? No one was able to answer him a word, and from that day on, no one asked him any more questions. Chapter 23. When Yahushua spoke to the crowds and to his Talmudim, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit on the seat of Moshe. Therefore, whatever he says to you to guard and do. but do not do according to their works, for they say and do not do. For they bind heavy burdens hard to bear and lay them on men's shoulders, but with their finger they do not want to move them. And they do all their works to be seen by men, and they make their tefillin wide and lengthen the tzitzit of their garments. And they love the best places at feasts and the best seats in the congregation, in the assemblies, and the greetings in the marketplaces, and to be called by men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But you do not be called Rabbi, for one is your teacher, Hamashiach, and you are all brothers. And call none on earth your father, for one is your father, he who is in the Shamayim. Neither be called leaders, for one is your leader, Hamashiach. But the greatest among you shall be your servant, and whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, ye hypocrites, because you shut up the reign of the Shamayim before men. For you do not go in, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. Woe to you, you scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, because you eat up widows' houses and for a show make long prayers. Because of this you shall receive greater judgment. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, ye hypocrites, because you go about the land and the sea to win one convert. And when he is won, you make him a son of Gehenna, twofold more than yourselves. Woe to you, blind guides, who say, whoever swears by the Mishkan, it does not matter, but whoever swears by the gold of the Mishkan is bound by oath. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gold or the Mishkan that makes the gold Kodesh? And whoever swears by the altar, it does not matter, but whoever swears by the gift that is on it is bound by oath. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift Kodesh? He then who swears by the altar swears by it and all that is upon it. And he who swears by the Mishkan swears by it and by him who is dwelling in it. And he who swears by the Shamayim swears by the throne of the Most High and by him who is sitting upon it. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites. I tell you, this is chapter 23. Because you tithe the mint and the anise and the cumin and have neglected the weightier of the Torah, the right ruling and the compassion and the belief. These need to have been done without neglecting the others. You blind guides, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, because you clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are filled with plunder and unrighteousness. You blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, so that the outside of them becomes clean too. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, because you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly indeed look well, but inside are filled with dead men's bones and all uncleanness. So you too, outwardly indeed appear righteous to men, but inside you are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the Nevi'im and decorate the monuments of the righteous, and say, if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in the blood of the Nevi'im. Thus you bear witness against yourselves that you are sons of those who murdered the Nevi'im, and you fill up the measure of your fathers. Serpents, brood of adders, how would you escape the judgment of Gehenna? Because of this, see, I send you Nevi'im and wise men and scholars. Some of them you shall kill and impale, and some of them you shall flog in your assemblies and persecute them, and persecute from city to city, so that on you should come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Havel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berakah, whom you murdered between the Mishkan and the altar. Truly, I say to you, all this shall come upon this generation. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, killing the Nevi'im and stoning those who are sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together the way a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, but you would not. I recognize that. That's out of Yeshayahu. See, your house is left to you laid waste. For I say to you, from now on you shall by no means see me, until you say, Baruch is he who is coming in the name of Yahweh. Yeah. Baruch haba Bashem Yahweh. Hey, I got it right. And going out, Yahushua went, this is chapter 24, and going out, Yahushua went away from the Mikdash, and his Talmudim came near to point out to him the buildings of the Mikdash. Yahushua said to them, do you not see all these? Truly I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another at all, which shall not be thrown down. And as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the Talmudim came to him separately, saying, say to us, when shall this be? And what is the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Yahushua answering said to them, take heed that no one leads you astray. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am HaMashiach, and they shall lead many astray. And you shall begin to hear of fightings and reports of fightings. See that you are not troubled, for these have to take place, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and reign against reign, and there shall be scarcities of food, and deadly diseases, and earthquakes in places. And all these are the beginning of birth pains. Then they shall deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many shall stumble, and they shall deliver up one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray. And because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. And this good news, called the Besorah, the good news of the reign, shall be proclaimed in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end shall come. So when you see the abomination that lays waste, spoken of by Daniel the Navi, put up in the Mikdash, he who reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Yehudah flee to the mountains. I hate it when I lose my place. Fleeing to the mountains. Ah, there it is. Let him who is on the housetop not come down to take whatever out of his house. Let him who is in the field not turn back to get his garments. And woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing children in those days. And pray that your flight does not take place in winter or on the Shabbat. For then there shall be great distress, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time. No, nor ever shall be. And if those days were not shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the sake of the chosen ones, those days shall be shortened. And if anyone says to you, look, here's HaMashiach, we're there, do not believe. For false messiahs and false prophets shall arise, and they shall show great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones. See, I have forewarned you. So if they say to you, look, he is in the desert, do not go out. Or look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe. For as the lightning comes from the east and shines to the west, so also shall the coming of the bane of Adam be. For wherever the dead body is, there the vultures shall be gathered together. And immediately after the distress of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars shall fall from the Shamaim, and the powers of the Shamaim shall be shaken. And then the sign of the bane of Adam shall appear in the Shamaim, and then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the bane of Adam coming on the clouds of the Shamaim with power and much esteem. And he shall send his messengers with a great sound of trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the four corners, from one end of the Shamaim to the other. Learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branches have already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know the summer is near. So you also, when you see all these things, know that he is near at the doors. Truly, I say to you, this generation shall by no means pass away until all this takes place. The Shamaim in the earth shall pass away, but my words shall by no means pass away. But concerning that day and the hour, no one knows, not even the messengers of the Shamaim, but my Father only. And this one passage is very interesting, about these standing right here shall not taste death. I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, it's very interesting. So you also, when you see all these things know that he is near at the doors. Truly, I say to you, this generation shall by no means pass away until all this takes place. Shamaim in the earth shall pass away, but my words shall by no means pass away. And as the days of Noach, so also shall the coming of the bane of Adam be. For as they were in the days before the flood, eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noach entered into the ark, and they did not know until the flood came and took them all away, so also shall the coming of the bane of Adam be. Then two shall be in the field, and one shall be taken and one left. Two shall be grinding at the mill, one shall be taken and one left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Adon is coming. And know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Because of this, be ready, too, for the bane of Adam is coming in an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is a trustworthy and wise servant, whom his master put over his household to give him food in season? Baruch is that servant whom his master, having come, shall find doing so. Truly I say to you that he shall put him over all his possessions. But if that evil servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with the drunkards, the master of the servant shall come on one day when he does not expect it, and at that hour he does not know, and shall cut him in two and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When the reign of the chapter 25. I know I'm really bad about that. I just keep reading. I'm sorry. Then the reign of the Shamaim shall be compared to 10 maidens who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. Those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their containers with their lamps, which is a wise thing to do. Yeah. And now, while the bridegroom took time, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight, a cry was heard, see, the bridegroom is coming, go out to meet him. Then all those maidens rose up, trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said to the wise, oh, give us of your oil because our lamps are going out. The wise answered, saying, nope, indeed, there would be not enough for us and you. Instead, you go to those who sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. And later, The other maidens also came, saying, Adonai, Adonai, open up for us. But he answering said, Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, because you do not know the day nor the hour in which the bane of Adam is coming. For it is like a man going from home, who called his own servants and delivered his possessions to them. And to one he gave 5 talents, and to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability, and went from home. And he who had received the 5 talents went and worked with them and made another 5. In the same way, he with the 2 also, he gained 2 more. But he who received the 1 went away and dug in the ground and hid the silver of his master. And after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 more. Master, you delivered to me 5. See, I have gained 5 more. And his master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You were trustworthy over a little. I shall put you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. Then he who had received the 2 talents came and said, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents, and see, I have gained 2 more talents besides these. His master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You were trustworthy over a little. I shall put you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And the one who had received the 1 also came and said, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown, gathering where you have not scattered seed. And being afraid, I went and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours. His master answering said to him, You wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I do not sow and gather where I have not scattered seed. Then you should have put my silver with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own plus interest. Therefore take away the talent from him and give it to him who possesses the 10. For to everyone who possesses, more shall be given, and he shall have overflowingly. But from him who does not possess, even what he possesses shall be taken away. And throw the worthless servant out into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When the bane of Adam comes in his esteem, and all the Kodesh messengers with him, then he shall sit on the throne of his esteem, and all the nations shall be gathered before him, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates his sheep from the goats. Goats, sheep. What do they like calling really good athletes? Goats. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Okay. And he shall put the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. And the sovereign shall say to those on his right hand, Come, you Baruch of my father, inherit the reign prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous shall answer him, saying, Adonai, when did we see you hungry and feed, or thirsty and gave to drink? And when did we see you a stranger and took in, or naked and clothed? And when did we see you sick, or in prison, or we came to you? Sovereign shall answer and say to them, Truly I say to you, insofar as you did it to one of the least of these of my brothers, you did it to me. He shall then also say to those on the left hand, Go away from me, accursed ones, into the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his messengers. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not take me in. I was naked, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they also shall answer him, saying, Adonai, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not serve you? Then he shall answer them, saying, Truly I say to you, insofar as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into everlasting chai. Chapter 26. And it came to be when Yahusha ended all these words, he said to the Talmudim, you know that after 2 days, the Pesach takes place. And the bane of Adam has to be delivered and be impaled, has to be delivered up to be impaled. Then the chief Kohanim and the scribes and the elders of the people came together at the court of the Kohanim Hagadol, who was called Caiaphas, and plotted to seize Yahusha by trickery and kill. But they said, not at the festival, lest there be an uproar among the people. And when Yahusha was in Bet Anya, at the house of Shimon the leper, a woman came to him, having an alabaster flask of costly perfume, and she poured it on his head as he sat at the table. And when his Talmudim saw it, they were much displeased, saying, well, to what purpose is this waste? For this perfume could have been sold for much and given to the poor. However, when Yahusha noticed it, he said to them, why do you trouble this woman? For she has done a good work toward me. For you always have the poor with you, but me you do not have always. For in pouring this perfume on my body, she did it for my burial. Truly, I say to you, wherever this good news is proclaimed in all the world, what this woman has done shall be spoken of also to her remembrance. Then one of the 12, called Yehudah from Kerioth, went to the chief Kohanim and said, well, what would you give me to deliver him up to you? And they counted out to him 30 pieces of silver. And in when you read about Yosef, what his brothers did, Yehudah acquired 30 pieces of silver. Interesting, huh? I believe he sold them to the Ishmaelites. 30 pieces of silver. Yeah. Okay. Doggone it. Okay. And from then on, he was seeking an occasion to deliver him up. And on the first of Mattithyahu, the Talmudim came to Yahusha, saying to him, where do you want us to prepare? The first of Mattithyahu, that's Pesach. But the second day of Mattithyahu is also a Sabbath. Okay, where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Pesach? He said, go into the city to a certain man and say to him, the teacher says, my time is near. I am to observe the Pesach at your house with my Talmudim. And the Talmudim did as Yahusha had ordered them and prepared the Pesach. And when evening came, he sat down with the 12. And while they were eating, he said, truly I say to you, one of you shall deliver me up. And they were deeply grieved and began to say to him, each of them, Adonai, is it I? And he answering said, he who has dipped his hand with me in the dish, he shall deliver me up. Indeed, the bane of Adam goes as it has been written concerning him. But woe to that man by whom the bane of Adam is delivered up. It would have been good for that man if he had not been born. And Yehudah, he who delivered him up, answering said, Rabbi, is it I? And he said to him, you have said it. And as they were eating, Yahusha took bread, and having Baruch, broke it and gave it to the Talmudim and said, take, eat, this is my body. And taking the cup and giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying, drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood, that of the renewed covenant, which is shed for many for the forgiveness of sins. But I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on, till that day when I drink it anew with you in the reign of my Father. And having sung a song, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then Yahusha said to them, all of you shall stumble in me this night, for it has been written, I shall strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered. But after I have been raised, I shall go before you into Galil. And Kepha answering said to him, Even if I'll stumble in you, I shall never stumble. Yahusha said to him, Truly I say to you, that this night, before the cock crows, you shall deny me 3 times. Kepha said to him, Even if I have to die with you, I shall not deny you. All the Talmudim said the same too. And Yahusha came with them to a place called Gath Shemen, and said to the Talmudim, Sit here while I go over there and pray. And he who took with him Kepha and the 2 sons of Zavdai, and he began to be grieved and deeply distressed. Then he said to them, My being is exceedingly grieved, even to death. Stay here and watch with me. And going forward a little, he fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not as I desire, but as you. And he came to the Talmudim and found them asleep and said to Kepha, So you were not able to watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into trial. The spirit indeed is eager, but the flesh is weak. Again he went away a second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it is impossible for this to pass unless I drink it, let your desire be done. And he came and he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the 3rd time, saying the same words. Then he came to his Talmudim and said to them, still sleeping and taking rest, See, the hour has come near, and the bane of Adam is delivered up into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. See, who delivers me up has come near. And while he was still speaking, see, Yehuda, one of the 12, with a large crowd with swords and clubs, came from the chief Kohanim and elders of the people, and he who was delivering him up gave him a sign, saying, Whomever I kiss, it is he, seize him. And going straight up to Yahusha, he said, Greetings, Rabbi, and kissed him. And Yahusha said to him, Friend, why have you come? Then they came and laid hands on Yahusha and seized him. And look, one of those with Yahusha put out his hand and drew his sword, and striking the servant of the Kohen Hagadol, he cut off his ear. Then Yahusha said to him, Return your sword to its place, for all who take the sword shall die by the sword. Or do you think that I am not able to pray to my Father now, and he shall provide me with more than 12 legions of messengers? How then would the scriptures be fulfilled, that it has to be this way? In that hour, Yahusha said to the crowds, Have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs to arrest me? Daily I sat with you, teaching in the Mikdash, and you did not seize me. But all this came to be so that the scriptures of the Nevi'im might be filled. Then all the Talmudim left him and fled. And those who seized Yahusha led him away to Caiaphas, the Kohen Hagadol, where the scribes and the elders were gathered together. Caiaphas followed him from a distance to the courtyard of the Kohen Hagadol, and he went in and sat with the servants to see the end. And the chief Kohanim and the elders and all the council were seeking false witness against Yahusha to put him to death, but found none. Although many false witnesses came forward, they found none. But at last, 2 false witnesses came forward and said, This one said, I am able to destroy the Mishkan of the Most High and to build it in 3 days. Kohen Hagadol stood up and said to him, Have you no answer to make? What do these witness against you? Yahusha remained silent. So the Kohen Hagadol said to him, I put you to oath by the living Well, I'll say creator. I really don't like the word Elohim. There's something funny about it. It's kind of mainstream. I think this is very mainstream. By the living creator that you say to us, if you are Hamashiach, the bane of Yahweh. Yahusha said to him, You have said it. Besides, I say to you, from now you shall see the bane of Adam sitting at the right hand of the Almighty and coming on the clouds of the Shamayim. Then the Kohanim Hagadol tore his garments, saying, Ha! He has blasphemed. Why do we need any more witness? See, now you have heard his blasphemy. What do you think? And they answering said, He is liable to death. Then they spat in his face and beat him, and others slapped him and saying, Never to us, Mashiach, who is the one who struck you? And Kepha sat outside in the courtyard, and his servant girl came to him, saying, Hey, and you were with Yahusha of Galilee. But he denied it before them all, saying, I do not know what you say. And as he was going out into the porch, another girl saw him and said to those there, And this one was with Yahusha of Nazareth. But again he denied it with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while, those who stood by came to him and said to Kepha, Truly, you are one of them too, for even your speech gives you away. And he began to curse and to swear, saying, I do not know the man. And immediately a cock crowed. And Kepha remembered the words of Yahushua, who had said to him, Before a cock crows, you shall deny me 3 times. And going out, he wept bitterly. And morning having come, all the chief Kohanim and elders of the people took counsel against Yahushua as to put him to death. And having bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilatus, the governor. Then Yahudah, he who delivered him up, having seen that he had been condemned, repented and returned the 30 pieces of silver to the chief Kohanim and to the elders, saying, I have sinned in delivering up innocent blood. And they said, What is that to us? You see to it. And throwing down the pieces of silver in the Mishkan, he left and went and hanged himself. And the chief Kohanim took the silver pieces and said, It is not right to put them into the treasury, seeing they are the price of blood. So they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field for the burial of strangers. Therefore, that field has been called the field of blood, even until today. Then was filled what was spoken by Yirmiyahu the Navi, saying, And they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him who was pierced, on whom of the children of Israel put a price, and gave them for the potter's field, as Yahweh had ordered me. And Yahushua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, You are the sovereign of the Yahudim? Yahushua said to him, You say it. And as he was accused by the chief Kohanim and the elders, and he answered not. Then Pilatus said to him, Do you not hear how much they witness against you? He did not answer him, not one word, so that the governor wondered much. And at the festival, the governor used to release to the crowd one prisoner whom they wanted. And they had a well-known prisoner called Barabbas. So when they were assembled, Pilatus said to them, who do you want that I release to you, Barabbas or Yahushua, who is called Mashiach? For he knew that because of envy, they had delivered him up. And as he was sitting in the judgment seat, his wife sent to him, saying, Have not to do with that righteous man, for I have suffered much today in a dream because of him. But the chief Kohanim and the elders persuaded the crowds that they should ask for Barabbas and to destroy Yahushua. And the governor answering said to them, Which of the two do you want that I release to you? And they said, Barabbas. Pilatus said to them, What then shall I do with Yahushua, who is called Mashiach? They all said to him, Let him be impaled. And the governor said, Indeed, what evil has he done? And they were crying out all the more, Let him be impaled. And Pilatus saw that he was getting nowhere, but rather an uproar was starting. He took water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this righteous one. You shall see to it. And all the people answering said, His blood be on us and our children. Then he released Barabbas to them, but having Yahushua whipped, he delivered him over to be impaled. And the soldiers of the governor took Yahushua to the court, gathered the entire squad around him. Having stripped him, they put a scarlet robe on him, and plaiting a crown of thorns, he put it on his head. and a reed in his hand, his right hand. And they kneeled down before him and mocked him, saying, "Greetings, sovereign of the Yahudim." And spitting on him, they took the reed and struck him on the head. And when they had mocked him, they took the robe off him and then put his own garment on him, led him away to be impaled. And as they were going out, they found a man of Kurene, Shimon by name, that compelled him to bear his stake. And when they came to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, place of a skull, they gave him wine mixed with bile to drink, and after tasting, he would not drink it. And having impaled him, they divided his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled what was spoken of by the Navi. They divided my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots. I believe the Navi was Yeshayahu. And sitting down, they guarded him there. And they put up over his head, written, the charge against him. "This is Yahushua, the sovereign of the Yahudim." Then 2 robbers were impaled with him, one on the right and one on the left. And those passing by were blaspheming him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who destroy the Mishkan and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the bane of the Most High, come down from the stake." And likewise the chief Kohanim with the scribes and elders mocking and said, "He saved others. He is unable to save himself. If he is a sovereign of Israel, let him come down now from the stake, and we shall believe him." He trusted in the Most High. Let him rescue him now if he desires him. For he said, "I am the bane of the Most High." And also the robbers who impaled him, who were impaled with him, reviled him the same. And from the 6th hour, there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Yahusha cried out with a loud voice, saying, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani." That is, my Father, it should be Abba, why have you forsaken me? Some of those standing there, having heard, "This one calls Eliyahu." And immediately one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. But the rest said, "Leave it. Let us see if Eliyahu comes to save him." Yahusha cried out again with a loud voice and gave up his spirit. And see, the veil of the Mishkan was torn in 2 from top to bottom, and the earth was shaken, and the rocks were split, and the tombs were opened. And many bodies of the Kodashim who had fallen asleep were raised, and coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, this was after his resurrection, they went into the Kodesh city and appeared to many. And the captain and those with him who were guarding Yahusha saw the earthquake and all that took place. They feared exceedingly, saying, "Truly, this was the bane of the Most High." And many women who followed Yahusha from Galilee, attending him, were there watching from a distance, among whom were Miriam from Magdala, Miriam the mother of Yaakov and Joseph, and the mother of Zabdi's sons. And when evening came, there came a rich man from Ramathaim, named Joseph, who himself also became a Talmud of Yahusha. He went to Pilatus and asked for the body of Yahusha, and Pilatus commanded the body to be given. Having taken the body, Joseph wrapped it in clean linen and laid it in the new tomb which he had hewn out of rock. And he rolled a large stone against the door of the tomb and went away. Miriam from Magdala was there, and the other Miriam sitting opposite the tomb on the next day, which was after the preparation. And the chief Kohanim and the Pharisees gathered together to Pilatus, saying, "Master, we remember while he was still alive, how that deceiver said, 'After 3 days I am raised.' Command then that the tomb be safeguarded until the third day, lest his Talmudim come by night and steal him away, and should say to the people that he was raised from the dead. And the last deception shall be worse than the first. So Pilatus said to them, You have a watch. Go, safeguard it as you know how. And they went and safeguarded the tomb, sealing the stone after posting sentries. Chapter 28. Now, after the Shabbat, toward dawn on one of the Sabbaths. Now, this makes no sense. Now, after the Sabbath, okay, toward dawn on one of the Sabbaths. Okay. See, sometimes, okay, well, Miriam from Magdala and the other Miriam came to see the tomb, and see, there was a great earthquake. For a messenger of Yahweh came down out of the Shamaim and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat on it. And his appearance was like lightning, and his garments as white as snow. And the guards trembled for fear of him and became like dead men. I'll bet they did. And the messenger responding said to the women, Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Yahushua who was impaled. He is not here, for he was raised. As he said, Come, see the place where the Adon lay. And go quickly, say to his Talmudim that he was raised from the dead. And see, he is going before you to Galil. There you shall see him. See, I have told you. And they left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy and ran to report to the Talmudim. And as they were going to report to his Talmudim, see, Yahushua met them saying, Greetings. And they came and held him by the feet and bowed to him. Yahushua said to them, Do not be afraid. Go report to my brothers to go to Galil. Go report to my brothers to go to Galil, and they shall see me there. And while they were going, see, some of the sentries, having gone into the city, reported to the chief Kohanim that what all took place. And when they came together with the elders and taking counsel, they gave enough silver to the soldiers, saying, Say that these Talmudim came at night and stole him away while we slept. And if this should be reported to the governor, we shall win him over and keep you out of trouble. And having taken the silver, they did as they were instructed, and this account was widely spread among the Yahudim to this day. And the 11 Talmudim went away to Galil, to the mountain which Yahushua had appointed for them. And when they saw him, they bowed to him, but some doubted. Probably Toma. That's where the phrase doubting Thomas comes from. And Yahushua came up and spoke to them, saying, All authority has been given to me in the Shamaim and on earth. Therefore go and instruct all the nations, immersing them in the name of the Father and of the Bane of the Ruach HaKodesh, and of the Bane and of the Ruach HaKodesh, teaching them to guard all that I have commanded you. And see, I am with you always until the end of the age. Okay. Well, take care of yourselves. See you next time.